Hi everyone, welcome to this video where I will explain how the k nearest neighbors algorithm works, and I'll walk you through an example of implementing it in Python. I have already written the code in my Jupyter notebook, so let's dive in step by step. Before jumping into the code, let me quickly explain how k nearest neighbors or KNN works. KNN is a simple and intuitive classification algorithm. The idea is straightforward. First, when we want to classify a new data point, KNN looks at the closest data points in the training set. These are called the neighbors. Second, the number of neighbors it considers is defined by k. For example, if k is 3, it will look at the 3 closest neighbors. Lastly, the algorithm assigns the class to the new data point based on the majority class among its neighbors. For instance, if two neighbors belong to class A and one belong to class B, the new data point will be classified as a class A. One thing to note is that KNN is a distance-based algorithm, meaning it calculates distances between the points, commonly using Euclidean distance. That is why it is essential to scale the data so that no feature dominates due to its larger range. Now that we understand the basics of how KNN works, let's jump into the implementation part. I will explain the code step by step. Step 1, importing libraries. First, I am importing the necessary libraries NumPy and Pandas for numerical and data manipulation, matplotlib.pyplot for the plotting. From sklearn, I am importing modules for train test splitting, feature scaling, KNN classification, and accuracy scoring. Here is the import statements. Step 2, preparing the dataset. Next, I have created a sample dataset containing names, ages, genders, and their preferred sports class. Here, gender is encoded as 0 for the males and 1 for the females. This data is stored in a dictionary, which is then converted into a data frame for easier manipulation. Step 3, encoding target labels. The class of sports column contains categories like football, cricket, and neither. These are encoded as 0, 1, and 2 respectively using the map method. This helps the model process the target labels numerically. Step 4, defining features and target variables. Here I have separated the features age and gender into X and the target columns class of sports into Y. These represent the input data and the output labels for our model. Step 5, splitting the dataset. I have split the dataset into training and testing sets using the train test split function. I used a test size of 30%, meaning 30% of the data is used for testing and the remaining 70% for the training. A random state ensures consistent splitting every time. Next, I scaled the features using standard scaler. This step standardizes the data, ensuring all features have a mean of 0 and a standard deviation of 1. This is crucial for models like KNN, which are sensitive to feature scales. Step 7, training the KNN model. Now I initialize the KNN classifier with k set to 3, which means the model considers the 3 nearest neighbors for the classification. Then I train the model using the fit method on the scaled training data. After training, I use the predict method to classify the test data. This gives us predictions for each data point in the test set. Step 9, that is evaluating the model. To evaluate the model, I calculated the accuracy using the accuracy score function. The result is displayed as a percentage. Step 10, predicting for a new sample. I also demonstrated how to predict the sports class for a new sample. For example, I took Angelina, a 5-year-old female, scaled her features before passing them to the model. The output indicates her class. Firstly, let's look at the visualization of our model. So finally, I plotted the decision boundaries of the KNN models. I created a mesh grid covering the range of age and gender values. Then I predicted the class for every point in the grid. Using Matplotlib, I plotted the decision boundaries and overlaid the training and test data points for visualization. So this is the plot for this. This plot shows how the KNN classifier separates the data point into different classes based on the age and the gender. And that's it. This is how you can use the KNN to classify data based on given features. Also, one thing I wanted to add here, if you run this code in your system, it will shows that the accuracy is 0%. This can happen because of the size of our data frame that we are taking. If you run this code or implement this KNN on something large or suitable data set, you will get the answer correctly. So I just, for the clarification how the KNN will work for our data, I just explain this. So if you wanted to try something on your own, you can take any data set that will suitable for KNN and then you will run this. Then you will not get any warnings and the accuracy will come out according to that. If you found this helpful, don't forget to like, share and subscribe for more such videos. Thanks for watching and I'll see you in the next one.